Hi friends, it's Deanna Williston with Our Blooming Catholic Life. It's almost Valentine's Day, and I don't know about you, but I've been seeing those super cute sweaters with the heart in the middle. And you know I have granny square fever, and so I wanted to try it. Come on that adventure with me. You can see I ended up with a heart and not a full granny square sweater. Still working on it, and there are many reasons why. One, this is going to be like the entirety of the sweater, and it's going to be a little awkward where it ends up. I may have to make a smaller one. My thought in going with these colors was one, heart of gold, right? That's kind of sweet. But also, these are the colors of my favorite football team, and so I thought if I make the rest of the sweater this burgundy color, I can wear it year-round. Also, I had this burgundy yarn around because I had just made a hat during the big game, and this is the outline of the sweater the big blanket I'm making for my dog Rusty. If you've ever seen Rusty on videos, he's about this color, and so it's his color. His hair doesn't show up as much on it. It's a nice color for a doggy blanket. And so I have lots of this around, and I thought I could easily use some of that, and just go buy more. Ha, ha, ha. So I searched the internet. There's lots of heart patterns out there. Most of them start out with a granny square and then have a number of just double crochets. They skip the granny method. They don't attempt to make a granny half circle on it, because a heart is really, you can see kind of the square shape, and then it's a half circle and a half circle. A lot of them have abandoned the granny method and incorporated it. Then there's some others who go back then, and on the back side, they're going to pick up stitches and tease a square out of this shape, and it'll be a 3D heart that's then incorporated. They're going to then work off that framework, that square framework they've attached to the back, and work the sweater off of that. I honestly think I've gotten to the place where I am going to make a granny square sweater in this color and applique this on. That is part of the reason that it has this lovely dark red edging, because I want the dark red or burgundy to be the color of the sweater. And then when I stitch this on, I'll stitch it on in this color on the edges. Still going to have to probably tack down the gold, but that way I'll be tacking down like color to like color for the main stitching on, the main applique. If you haven't seen a video on that, a great way, if you have to sew something and you don't have regular mercerized thread in your color, look, there's threads within your yarn. You can untwist it, cut a length that you want, and then untwist the yarn. So how did I go about this? Where did I get the idea? You'll be seeing in a few weeks a book review on this book, Every Way with Granny Crochet. And you see, most of them are not squares. So indeed, Granny 25 is a heart. It says, this design, much like myself, is a squared heart. Easily adaptable to different sizes, this lovely shape begins with a classic granny, then gets around with a couple of half circles. Go kickstart your granny heart. Now, if you join the book right at the instructions, it says base square. Make base square as classic granny using join and turn rounds ending on a fourth round. Fasten off and turn. So it's telling you classic granny join and turn rounds. So if I go back to the book and look at granny number 1, classic granny. But there's 4 versions of it. First version 1 is corner join, then side join, slip stitch corner, and half double crochet corner. None of those were called, what did they call it over here? Join and turn rounds. Uh-oh. There was one that said double crochet join. Does it say it's turning? Nope. But the first one, corner join? Nope. Doesn't say anything about turning, does it? Nope, that has no turning. What about our side join? It does not mention turning. See, here's the problem. This is what I was like, I thought I had found the one, and then none of them actually tell you where to turn. It is also not in the all versions to modify. It's not in that description, and it's not in the stats. The next one, though, then talks about granny stitch in rows. and then rounds. Let's see here. But it is just working straight across horizontal rows in the granny square method, not in granny squares. So where does this tell us? That's granny 2. It does not tell us how to do this. So we're back to the beginning. It tells you to work it in rounds and then rows. So what are we doing? It does, when we get to the half circles, it tells us when to turn, but not in the first one. So you're going to have to, this is where your chart is going to come in handy, because they don't give you this at all. But you are going to need to turn. Why are you going to need to turn? Because these half circles are worked in rows. And so we talked about in another video, and I'll hold them up for you. This is the back side of a granny square, and here's the front side. You can see the stitches look a little different, even though they're all double crochets. And so we're going to have alternating of these in the round part of the heart, the half circles. See, that's going to alternate like that. And so we don't want a section where they're all right sides and then suddenly alternating right and wrong sides. And so you're going to have to pay attention to the chart and see where we're going to turn them. So one of the reasons when I review this book, I say make sure to read all your directions first, including anything that says to modify or top stats. You need to read them all. But this is just the instructions in the base square, and it does not tell you how to do it. It tells you that it's worked in rounds and then rows, infinite growth potential, pairs well with classic granny, half square, triangle 1 or 2, or any rectangle. It also just tells you how to modify if you want to change colors, how to enlarge the heart without high blood pressure. Wah, wah, wah. Told you, it's a very cutesy book. Any version of classic granny will work for base square, though using join and turn rounds, which have both a right and a wrong side, will create the most consistent looking fabric when you switch. It again doesn't tell you how to do that. I found nothing in the book that tells you how to do that, but I figured it out by doing it wrong first and working a few rows of the heart, and then I was like, okay, I think I can figure this out. And then again, it has the chart as well for the heart. Can you see that? I did extend mine. I did it bigger. They only had 4 rounds on the base, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see I continued on with 5 and 6, so I did 6 there. So here is my heart. I'm going to applique it on. I don't know what you're wearing for this Valentine's or Galantes or Treat Yourself Day. However you're celebrating, a small version of these would be really cute. You could do it in thread crochet for a bookmark or a coaster. You could put it on a hat. You could put it on the sweater. You could just make a little one and hook it on somebody's book bag or lunch bag in the morning. Again, that was every way with Granny Crochet. There's lots of books that have a multitude of ways. I don't want to ruin it for you. There's really not a great way to integrate a heart into the middle of a granny square sweater. I'm just going to do the simple squares, sew them together, applique this bad boy on, and I am going to be good to go. And hopefully I get done before my Valentine's Day lunch tomorrow. Friends, may God bless you and keep you. Bye.